All right, let's take a look at motion sequencing. What is a motion sequence, all right? A motion sequence is really, we all know that there are musical sequences that it consists of notes that you play and it plays back. Well, a motion sequence is going to really be about automation. It's automating your controllers. So maybe you want a filter to open and close at a certain rate, or maybe you want to pan something left and right in the stereo field, or maybe even change the tuning of something. Well, you can automate any of these parameters. Almost anything can be automated in the Montage. And you can create your own motion sequences. Now, one of the things that you're going to do is learn from what's already here. We have tutorials on this. You can drop into edit on one of the sounds, and I'm going to show you what a motion sequence looks like. I'm going to load a factory preset motion sequence in called the Big Bell. All right. And what we're going to do is take a look at this. And what you can see is these bell shapes. All right. And what it's doing, you can hear it opening and closing the filter. All right. Now I'm going to make the seventh one here a little shorter so that you get an idea of what's going on. All right. So you can see I can change the amplitude of this movement. All right. Now I can change the shape of this. I can load in a different one. Maybe let's look at one that is the big triangle. And what this does, if you take a look at this, it's changing things. If this was panning, it would be panning things left and right. Here it is opening and closing the filter. This can be tempo driven. This can be driven by the next note in the arpeggio, or it can just run freely. This is wonderful. This is a kind of thing that is controlled. Now let's take a look at what this is controlling. I'm going to drop out and we're going to look at the parameters. All right. So here's cutoff, and what it's doing is opening and closing the filter with the motion sequence. So let me make this a little larger. All right. Also, it's panning. So, you know, if you're listening there in stereo, it's also moving back and forth in the stereo field. All right. Now, these destinations, there are up to 16 destinations, 4 per page. Each one is extremely programmable. You can program what happens, where it happens, when it happens, the shape it takes. You can even draw your own curves. So I'm going to add one here, and what I'm going to do is give you an idea of the number of parameters that you can assign this to. You can assign it to 24 different parameters in Insert Effect 1, 24 different parameters in Insert Effect 2. All right. You can do part parameters. Maybe I want to do pitch, for example. Let's just drop in on pitch. All right. And what I want to do is have that follow the motion sequence. So you can see here, it's following the lane as well. All right. So now I'm going to make this bi-directional. Let's come down here, bi-directional. And just a subtle pitch change. Or radical pitch change. All right. So motion, you can put things in motion. Now, how many things can you do? You can keep adding. You can add another one, and you can go to page 2 and add another, and another, and another, and another. And then you go to page 3 and add another, and another, and another, and another. And then on page 4, 4 more. 16 destinations for each motion control sequence. You can have 8 of these going on at the same time. Don't let this hurt your head now. It's a lot of stuff. You can automate things over a great deal of time. In other words, I have this referencing the current tempo. All right. So if I back out of here, you know, I have it referencing the tempo of the song or whatever's playing. I can double time it. All right. By making it 50%, it will be twice as fast. I can get triplet values, dotted values. 100% will exactly match the tempo. 16 steps will be 1 measure. I can make it 200%, which would be cut time, half the speed. I can take it all the way out to 6,400%. So that means that something would happen over the next 64 measures. So, I mean, I can automate just about anything at any time during when I'm performing. And remember, the montage is tempo aware. In other words, the A to D input allows it to live and breathe in your band. So it can take tempo from an external source that's audio, okay? So you think of the potential here. These motion sequence lanes can be very, very powerful. Again, 8 of them can happen at one time. You can create 4 lanes per motion sequence, and you can have 8 of them within a performance. So it's really very powerful, very enlightening, very opening, very, you've never done this before. It's quite the thing. So motion sequencing is one of the powers of the motion control synthesis engine that is Montage.